The Tao Te Ching contains a profound sea. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. It reveals the most basic yet often misunderstood truth. The greatest enemy in life is never the external world, but oneself. Many times, you think what hinders your progress is the environment, others, insufficient resources, or lack of opportunity. But what truly stops you is your fear, your doubt, your procrastination, those forces you are unaware of, yet which silently pull you back every day. Taoism often mentions humility, not to make one weak, but to make the mind clear. The emptier a person's heart, the more open it is to new paths. The fuller the heart, the easier it is to be brought by one's own thoughts. You think the world restricts you, but in reality, it is your own heart that has closed the door for you. When a person is truly trapped, it seems as if there is no way forward, but the more realistic situation is, the heart is filled with too many past wounds, too many worries about the future, and too much hesitation to try. These things are like a thick fog, enveloping you and preventing you from seeing the direction ahead. The more you care about external voices, the less you hear your own inner voice. The more afraid you are to step out. The narrow door that was initially just a crack slowly turns into a wall. Taoism says, man follows the earth follows heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature. One should act in accordance with the natural order, following one's own nature, not the illusions created by inner fears. Life isn't actually that complicated. What truly traps you is the shadow within your own heart. You doubt yourself, and your pace slows. You avoid problems, and troubles accumulate. You become accustomed to stability, and growth becomes unattainable. These things don't suddenly appear in your life. They've always been in your heart, but you never face them directly. So, even though you tried hard enough, you still haven't gone far. You clearly want to change, but you can't seem to take the first step. You seem to be fighting against the world, but you're actually fighting against yourself. If there's any way to break this deadlock, it's not through drastic action, but through clear-headed awareness. When you begin to see your fears, acknowledge your avoidance, and understand your hesitation, you already began to step over that invisible wall. Change is never a momentary impulse, but a quiet awakening. Sometimes, what seems like stopping is actually accumulating strength. Bamboo spends the first 4 years diligently rooting itself, only going at an incredible speed in the faith. You might think you regressed, but that's just life doing a transformation. Taoism says, great straightness appears crooked. The path of growth often seems like weakening, but it is precisely this bend that allows one to move forward more steadily. Truly strong people don't focus on the world's difficulties, but rather let their hearts become as soft as water. Water never fights against stone, yet it can penetrate mountains. It is never afraid of being limited by shade, yet it can hold all things. The more relaxed you are, the more you can find your own rhythm. The more flexible you are, the more you can find the path that suits you best. When you stop fighting your emotions, stop treating fear as shame, and stop using fear as an excuse, the space within your heart will grow larger and larger. Those things that once held you back will slowly dissipate like mist. You suddenly discover, many difficulties weren't so difficult after all. Many paths had always been dug. Much strength had already resided deep within your heart. Love never hinders a truly awakened person. When your heart is open, your path is illuminated. When you're willing to transcend yourself, the world is willing to open up to you. Lao Tzu said, the most difficult things in the world must be done by starting with the easiest. The greatest things in the world must be done by starting with the smallest. Success isn't achieved through a single burst of energy, but by being willing to fight a small battle against your inner weaknesses every day. Even if you only take one step forward each day, your life will quietly change direction. You must firmly believe that there is no ceiling to life. What truly limits you is never the world, but the boundaries you set for yourself. Once you're willing to cross them, everything will change. Remember, the only thing that hinders your success is yourself. But the only thing that makes you, breaks through your limitations, and surpasses you is also yourself. When you are no longer trapped in your own mind, you have embarked on your own path.